Hi, I want to talk to you today about the benefits of putting an online scheduler on your website to grow your business, get more leads, make more sales. So a scheduler that you can put on your website is basically an online calendar that allows your site visitors make an appointment, an intro call, a discovery call, whatever you want to call it, with you at a time that suits you and that suits them on your website. Now, these calendars, scheduling tools, whatever you like to call them, they don't have to be just for intro calls. You can use them to sell classes, to sell coaching sessions, to sell Ask Me Anything, power hours, whatever it is you might sell. They don't have to be used obviously just for intro calls or discovery calls, but that's a very common usage of them, and it certainly makes it easier for people perusing your website to set up a call to know a bit more about your services and so on. So they can do this no matter what part of the world they're in, whether you're asleep or at your desk. By having it on your website, they can book that call with you, get a confirmation email without having any actual direct interaction with you by email or over the phone. So there was a poll on LinkedIn asking people whether they thought this was too an impersonal way of setting up these initial calls, but in my experience, my customers have found it super simple and nice that they can book a call that suits them at a time that suits them. And there isn't all the usual toing and froing by email. Oh, I'm free on Tuesday at 10, and they're coming back going, oh, well, I can't do Tuesday, and so on and so forth. So by putting your schedule on your website, obviously you can decide which times and days you want to make available. So you don't have to be available. You don't have to put your Monday to Friday 9 to 5 up there. If you decide you only want to take discovery calls on a Tuesday between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m, well, then you just make that time available on your calendar. So the other things you can do with these calendars is integrate them with your existing work calendar or personal calendar. If you're using iCal or Office 365, Google Calendar, whatever you're using, you can integrate the two so that there's no overlap. So if you have an existing appointment on a certain time and day, well, then that won't come up on your online scheduler as being available. So there's no overlap and you avoid double bookings. The other things you can do is attach an intake form. So when somebody is setting up a call with you, they answer a few questions. So this might be a good way of getting, if you don't know anything about the person, getting a bit of information about which of your services they're interested in, what experience they have. For example, in my case, I ask people if they have an existing website, so I can take a look at their website before we hop on the call. How did they hear about me, which is always good to know where people are coming from, and if, for example, if they've been referred to you, well, you can ask who made the referral, so you can go back and thank that person. But it's just good for your stats to know how people hear about you, or if they found you through a Google search or whatever. So you can use these intake forms to get some information about the person before you actually meet them. Now, as I said earlier, you don't have to use these for intro calls. You can use these calendars for all types of appointments, and they don't all have to be visible on your website. I may have 5 or 6 different appointment types set up in my online scheduler, but only 2 of them actually appear on my website. So what are the other ones? Well, I always do training, for example, as part of my offboarding process with my web design clients. So that training session, that lasts 90 minutes typically, and I usually do those on a Friday. So when I'm finishing up with a client and I'm sending them the calendar to book their training appointment, they get sent a link directly to the calendar. Usually it's Fridays that comes up, and they pick the slot the 90-minute slot on a Friday that suits them best. So that would be a direct link that I would send them through email. Now I could put that on a hidden page on my website, but my point is that not all appointments have to appear on your website. There's an awful lot you can do in the back end with these online schedulers to facilitate your life, basically. You can also integrate these apps with Stripe for taking payments. So if you're selling classes, or you're selling coaching calls or a power hour, you can attach a price to the appointments as well, so that people pay at the moment of booking. So again, that just speeds up the whole admin process, which is really, really useful. When people make an appointment with you, they get a confirmation email, so that can be personalized. You can use whatever text you want. You can add your branding. If you want to put a little headshot or a logo underneath your name at the bottom, you can. Basically, you can make that email as personal as you want. You can integrate a Zoom link if you were meeting somebody, if the appointment was going to be on Zoom. So you can integrate with your Zoom account, so you don't have to paste in your Zoom address every time. That's just automated. And then you can set up reminder emails. You can set up notifications by text. There's all sorts of things you can do to speed up this whole administrative side of setting up appointments, taking payments, and so on. So really, really useful tool. And then, so the one I've been using for years is Acuity Scheduling, which is, well, it's actually been bought by Squarespace, but it's a standalone scheduling app. Calendly is another one that's very common, and there's a free version of Calendly. So if you don't want to pay for a monthly fee, Calendly I know has a free version. Now you're stuck with Calendly branding and all that type of thing, so it doesn't always integrate as nicely on your website as the paid version, but Calendly is a really good one as well. With Acuity, fees do start now at €14 a month to use it, and then I think they have two higher plans. So the higher plans, for example, if you were running a yoga school and you had multiple teachers and each teacher had their own timetable, or different rooms, for example, in a health center or wellness center, something like that, you would need a higher plan in order to be able to manage multiple schedules with multiple, different teachers and so on. But I have all sorts of clients who are using Acuity, from business coaches to yoga instructors to, I have somebody who works in health and safety. He uses it to sell PCR tests. I have, who else? Chauffeur service. So they use it so people can book airport transfers, tours around Ireland. I mean, it really is fantastic for anything where there's recurring appointment types. It's really useful. So what else can I tell you about them? I think I've covered everything. Payment integration with a whole load of apps. So if you're using CRM, if you're using probably HubSpot, I mean, there's just lots of different apps that can integrate with the scheduling app, so that everything, they all talk to each other. Stripe for taking payments, as I said, Zoom and so on, but other online video streaming apps as well. So they're all very versatile, and can really save you a lot of time, make it easier for people to contact you, or book a call, book a session, book a class, whatever. So highly recommend it. Also, if you're in Ireland and you want to apply for the Trading Online voucher, so that's government funding to encourage businesses to set up e-commerce websites, having a scheduler on your website ticks that e-commerce checkbox for the Leo. So even if there isn't actually any money exchanging hands, if somebody can book a call with you through your website, that will tick the e-commerce tick box for the Trading Online voucher application. Sorry. So that's just good to know, because sometimes I've customers coming to me, but I'm not selling anything on my website. I'm not selling a tangible physical product, or maybe they don't want to manage their any of their services, take payment for any of their services online. Well, by making it easy for people to contact you and basically do business with you through an online scheduler, and that qualifies you for that Trading Online funding. So that's good to know. So if you've any questions, or if you've any comments, if you've any experience, good or bad, put them in the comments below. I'd love to know how you've been getting on. But if you haven't considered adding a scheduler to your website, set up a trial with one of these apps, and you'll be surprised. I'm sure you'll find it really useful. And yeah, so thanks for your attention. Bye.